approaches to visions. One is the constrained vision. Having a constrained vision means that you believe that unless some superpower comes to save a situation, then people in a particular predicament will never be able to solve the problem that affects them. And then if you look at the example given about the 11 tons of rice, I would say those who are raising the $10, the $20 are doing so because they operate within the constrained vision perimeter. Unless we take the 11 tons of rice, Africans are dead. The question is, before you ship the rice, what are the Africans feeding on? Because you see, as we are raising the money, we have Africans. We have 950 million Africans. So you could see a few of them on TV, maybe appearing or starving. But the issue is there must be something going on. And that's why my presentation today will be about commercializing entrepreneurship in Africa, because there's something going on, but we ignore it. And that's why we have people with these constrained visions who come with all the tons of rice, all the loads of money, and destroy whatever that is already operating. Thomas also says that you could operate under what we may refer to as unconstrained vision. Now, with unconstrained vision, you believe in the human ingenuity to solve whatever affects them, because the survival instinct belongs to all living things. And when we look at the constrained vision, somebody needs to bring aid to save Africa. Unconstrained vision, somebody said there must be something we simply need to nurture and make it grow so that people can tackle the problems that affect them. So in summary, what I would say before I go to my slides, because I want to have a short time of presentations so that I can get questions. I would say that for Africa, we have a big problem, and the problem is nothing to do with money or lack of food, but the problem is something to do with confidence. Because if your confidence has been destroyed by somebody who believes that unless he saves you, you'll never save yourself, then you'll always wait for a handout. And if you're waiting for a handout, what that means is whatever talent you have, you keep it in the pocket. You just wait for somebody else to come and solve your problem. And the second problem we have is what I'll refer to as attitude to the market. Because you've been waiting for long, and there's somebody who is always, let me use this word, pretending to help you, when in essence it's not helping, because if they were helping 40 years after all the countries in Africa got independence, now we should be very happy suppliers of resources. Africa is known to have lots of minerals, but at the same time we are talking about a poor continent. So if we had a good attitude towards the market, then we'd not be talking about the African problem. What do I mean by good attitude towards the market? We are still living under the hangover of we should supply whatever we produce to our former colonial governments. Let's say Kenya would supply tea to United Kingdom, and maybe Tanzania does the same. So you'll get several countries in Africa producing tea, coffee, and they're all rushing to Europe, producing flowers, all rushing to Europe. And then when there's a problem, like now with the global warming debate and carbon footprints debate, now they say we won't take your flowers because a lot of carbon is spent getting the flowers from Nairobi to maybe Amsterdam. Now, Africans are waking up to the fact that even Africans are consumers, because you can't be talking about no market for your cup of coffee, and that 6 million Kenyans don't even consume coffee. Maybe just a few guys, in the city. Now you're saying you don't have a market for tea. 950 million Africans have not seen your tea, which means under the constrained vision operation, you've been always ignoring the resource right at your home, at your doorstep. And that's the kind of work we do at the Interregional Economic Network, to point out to our fellow Africans that don't ignore this market, which is just right within your house. And if you do that, you are going to be able to start commercializing entrepreneurship. Well, somebody told me some time back, but entrepreneurship is already commercial, you know. So why should we have a discussion on commercializing entrepreneurship? So I like just to ask, we move on to the, well, what my slide shows there is a typical open market in Africa. I know in the modern world we have also supermarkets, you know, the huge shopping malls. But then we have open markets where people negotiate, you bargain. There's no fixed price. If you are good, if you know how to bargain, you can buy an item at half a price. And this has been happening before even African communities or tribes were colonized, and after. This market system has never died. And if you talk about free market, you can see where the actual free market is. Price is determined by, you know, haggling. If this one says it's too expensive, you move to the next one. You see, they're offering almost, if not similar products. But they always stop here. They don't move to the next level. Because you're here, you've gotten your maybe $20 in a day, you go back home, then again the following day you come back. Are available. People have medicine. There have been suggestions about use of bed nets, but nobody is really investing heavily in why not kill the mosquito. If you have 1 million mosquitoes, 10 billion mosquitoes in Africa, that's money, isn't it? If we quantify that and say, for whoever kills 1 million mosquitoes, he'll be paid this much. You've already started tackling the malaria problem from a business, a commercialized aspect. And that one will make malaria cease to be really a problem, but a huge opportunity, because again, we have so many African graduates who say, we don't have jobs. We are unemployed because they want to work for the government. They want to work for the non-jobs, constrained vision. Nobody wants to go out unconstrained, you know, and try out something new. So I just give an illustration there of one of the activities our think tank came up with, because for the last 4 years, people started asking us, you know, in Africa, if you think too much and people are dying, nobody will listen to you, because you can't just be a think tank. You can't give us statistics. People are dying, you know. Every time you're thinking, somebody's dying. You've heard of the data campaign where they say, click your fingers and people are dying, isn't it? So our organization decided to take care of that concern by coming up with what we refer to as do tank, creating business units among young people. And one of them we set up was a business to do the indoor residue spraying. You know, we get young people trained on how to spray houses. That's a hut in the village. And on average, each hut costs, in terms of dollars, I should say, 1.5